Gabe. I think I know everyone in this room, so I got kind of a lot of stuff to go through, so I'm going to go a little bit quick. Start with some old stuff, get on some new stuff. It's going to be great. Hold up. Build the criteria. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
A while back, I started photographing in black and white, kind of like real grainy stuff. I really hate trackpads; they're like really tough to use. I wanted to bring a mouse in, but I couldn't get one in time. I started shooting like my friends and my environment in black and white, real grainy. That's basically what that looked like. My dog. Now that's kind of the general gist of that whole period of time. That was eventually going to be a big book, which never got made. So I started shooting in color. Pretty much same idea, just like friends, environments, like what I was up to, what my life looked like. All of it in this picture. It was never really like relevant to my practice, but it was always pretty sick. But once again, just like my friends and my environment, and like what I was doing, mostly in color. It's my friend Joel. He's like kind of my muse almost. I started printing really big around this time, like maybe like I don't know, like 4 feet wide or something. Anyways, that was that. And then I kind of got like disenchanted with this whole idea of like spending forever to make like one giant body of work, and I felt like that wasn't me. And I've always listened to rap music. I feel like everyone goes through like music phases. And I like started my rap phase when I was like 12, and it just like never stopped. So I got really into like riff rap and Lil B, if you guys are familiar with them. They're like really like fascinating to me because like, I got some pictures actually. They're really fascinating because they make like terrible music. It's like awful, but there's like so much of it. Like Riff Raps released like hundreds of songs, and Lil B has also released like thousands of songs. And he released like a mixtape or an EP or something called I'm Gay, which is like kind of crazy. And you like can't even tell if they're kidding or not because they like are clearly this is like a full-time job for them, but like so you don't really know what's going on there. It's sort of like you can confidently say that it's stupid, but you can't really confidently say that it's bad. It's like kind of a rad place to be, I think. Like as an artist with like a practice, like that's like pretty sick. So I decided like, why don't I just like try and like work in the same manner, you know, just like make a ton of work, not be concerned about whether or not it's good, and just kind of like, just go for it. And once you start working in this way, like, failing is like no longer a thing you can do because it's like, that was kind of the point to begin with, which is like a pretty, once again, like a pretty rad spot to be in. So I decided I'm just gonna like make a bunch of shitty books. So I started doing that. Here's one I made called Will I Get Shot by a Dope Fiend? It's like a contemporary look at death, and like, I don't really have like a whole lot to say about death, and so I thought it'd be a good like, kind of topic to address. And I think like a pretty common artistic tactic is to like research, you know, but I decided not to do that. I went ahead and made this book about death. Pull up some of the images from it right quick. They're buried in here. Decided not to do that, so I went about it in sort of like the only way that I could, which was like, you know, I got like some landscapes, and then I got my dog who died, and I've got like the text message my mom sent of when my dog died. You can see it like right there in the middle. That was like kind of upsetting. And then like my friend wearing a shirt that has like the Grim Reaper on it, that's about death, and like a car that's all smashed up. And then like some bike selfies, because I like ride bikes a lot. So I thought that'd be like a good way to look at it. And just sort of like trying to paint like really broad strokes of a diverse topic to, you know, just trying to address it, like given my limited worldview, which was like somewhat successful, I think. So then I went on to make another book called Masculinity, Domesticity, Tender Moments, which is basically like kind of like an investigation of those 3 themes as they manifest themselves in my life, you know, like whatever that means. So like you got images like this. Like I was kind of interested to see like how a photograph could like check like one or all 3 of those boxes. So like this is like a masculine moment and a tender moment, or a domestic moment, right? But then you've got like this one which kind of started the whole project, and that's like a domestic moment because there's pizza in the kitchen, and it's masculine because there's 2 dudes, but it's also very domestic. Wait, no, it's masculine because there's 2 dudes, domestic because the kitchen, and it's a tender moment because they've got like eye contact. And I started to realize that like in a photograph, like a tender moment is basically defined by eye contact, which I thought was like pretty like an awesome discovery from that book. So I went ahead and started making these things called 10-second sculptures because I felt like people weren't really like understanding my work properly, and I was kind of upset by that. So I started making 10-second sculptures. Oh yeah, here's another book I made. It was about this cat my friend had in high school. It's sideways, so it doesn't really make sense, but of course I rotated it. And then
You rotate it, Gabe.
10-second sculptures. Oh, this is another one I did. This is a party I went to, also sideways. It should be like 90 degrees clockwise, but that's what that looks like. So yeah, 10-second sculptures basically like really simple. It's like a one-page book. This one's called Moa. Here's the front cover, this back cover, and there's the interior. It's just like one page. And it's just like a photograph I took, and then a brief explanation what that photograph actually is. Because a lot of times people like totally misunderstand it, you know? So like I'm just gonna read like a brief bit of that. It says, this moment is also an investigation into the inherently fluid nature of time and the inherently fickle nature of photography. The viewer becomes aware of time as an uncontrollable entity, yet also one which has been compartmentalized and quantified into blocks which govern access to space and the role of the individual in space. So that's what that photograph really is about, like to me, but like people don't seem to get that, so how do I just lay it out and I can like kind of circumvent that whole problem. So that was that. And then I actually made a bunch from, I got like a PDF that you can pull up. Here we go. This is actually like the PDF I like printed. So this is like some pretty like you know, from my eyes only type of thing, but you guys can see it. So like Golden Virginia was one about this like piece of tobacco I gave to like the country of England basically, because they smoke Golden Virginia tobacco over there. Boxwall is this like poem I wrote about capitalist ego death. There's a couple of Boxwall. This is actually, I got this giant piece of gold and I put it in Evergreen Cemetery, and it was kind of about like how capitalism shapes the landscape, especially in Richmond. And that's like the value of the piece of gold, $33,224,369.98. So that was like a pretty awesome acquisition. It matches this one. It's about kind of like parallel universes and like the utopias that you can see and the utopias you can't see. There's a title for that. And then Fire. My friends always watch TV, and I got kind of sick of it. And I think that if we got rid of TVs, we could kind of enhance our interpersonal relationships. So that's kind of what Fire was about. I burned a chair. Pretty rad. And then I also did one where I like peed and like took a picture of like this while I was peeing. And that got me really interested in like color relationships, like as a topic for photography, just like as a formal element. So I started taking pictures while I was peeing because of that, and did that a whole lot. It was pretty cool. Let's see if I can find the folder. Yeah, what's interesting is like a photograph is inherently like a moment in the space, but it can be any moment in any space. But if you take a picture while you're peeing, like if you set that constraint, then all of a sudden it really limits like the moments and spaces which you can actually photograph in. So it's kind of fun to like play within these boundaries. Yes, I got a bunch of pictures I took while peeing. Like, you know, there's like these, which are just like you know, like kind of like color stuff. And there's like some, like this one, there's like these guys on Segways. Like, pretty sick, I think. So I made a whole bunch of these and actually released a book, like peeing in the shower. Like I think everybody does that, but we don't have to. So I actually like, well, got this book that I made of all the pictures I made while peeing. It's like pretty awesome. There's some like some raunchier ones, but I'm not gonna show those. So this whole like kind of idea of like peeing as like a means of making work kind of led me to my installation in this like senior show thing. Do you know if we have internet down here? I really hope so. I don't actually have photographs of my installation that I have in the thing in the show, Power Wash, but I do have like some mock-ups that I made actually that I can show you guys so you can kind of see like what I actually installed. I recently changed all my passwords because that Heartbleed thing, and it's like really hard to remember them now. But oh my god. Let me just find my I don't know why the screen's like so tiny actually. Let me just pull this up. But yeah, this is just like the installation like mock-up that I made. It's like really rough, so just bear with me. But I've got, okay, this is like the P book, that's the detail shop. If you look, right here's the canvas, which is like one edge of this like table I made, and this cardboard box is the other edge, representing it. I've got the urination 10-second sculpture right here. I've got the actual jacket from the sculpture here. I've got my P book here. I've got a stack of books here. And then I put a water bottle here, but if you go to the actual show, there's going to be a Bud Light Platinum bottle empty there, which kind of like, and also a coffee cup on the ground with coffee grounds in it. So that kind of represents like urination as like the subject matter. And then I've actually got the jacket from the real thing, and you can see the jacket here and here. So I'm kind of bringing the objects from my books into the space, which is kind of interesting because like the book is a documentation of the performance, and then the installation is like the documentation of the performance brought into like the physical realm. So it's like kind of cool how like the jacket activates the book and the book activates the jacket, and they kind of go in like a loop actually of activation, which sort of persists like infinitely, and it's like kind of like a rad thing to do. That's kind of all I had to talk about today. I think we've got like some time left. I don't really know what the clock is on this. I think there's a little bit of time left. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys some other projects. We've got, man, this is like some really like early stuff I've been working on. I've been photographing dogs and like trying to make sense out of that because you know people have been photographing dogs like since cameras were around as far as I can tell. I'm just trying to like like cover some new ground here with dogs. This is like really rough. Like I'm just sort of trying to find like where the boundaries of the medium lie, like where I can push it, where I can't push it. Like where are people like willing to how much can people stretch their like understanding of what a dog photograph can be? You know, I mean, like here's a dog. This is my dog, my mom's dog when it was really sick actually. So she's like on her deathbed, but she was actually fine. And then here's like another dog, but like this one's looking away and it's like sickly, and this one's like this one's looking towards and sickly, and this one's looking away and it's like active, and there's like a camera blur. So it's kind of seeing like what I can actually do about that. This is actually a dog in New York, like wearing a tie-dye shirt. I don't know if you guys can see that. He's like dumping on the sidewalk. See, that's like kind of it for dogs. That's just like, like I said, like look out for that in like a year or two. That's like most of what that is. Also these are still just like figure studies I've been doing. Just like trying to look at like the different viewpoints of a camera. Like I've got like my personal like objective reality and then like the objective reality of the camera and like the subjective reality of my subject. Because that's just how that works. So it's actually like there are 3 realities being represented, or in this case 4, which I think is a really interesting way because it's all these realities are literally compressed onto a sheet of paper, which is the print, or I guess in this case like a giant projector screen. So you can kind of like so you kind of get that going on, which I think is like kind of a really unique way to look at photography, which I'm kind of like once again really early stages. But that's like, that's really far off, so don't even worry about that yet. But I think that's just about all I have for today. I think we're out of time. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.